All right, boys, here we are. Start of season 2. We've played a game already because I just had to see how the boys got on. Rebuild complete in terms of players departing. We've had 29 players leave. I've signed 17, so the squad is looking good. We've signed freebies, experienced players, the youth team players as well, players that are going to go into our under-23s for the season, some superb loans, some superb squad players, some star players, some wonder kids. It's all been mixed together, which I think is an outstanding Palace squad. What I want you to do before we get into today's video from it is smash a like. That'd be muchly appreciated. Subscribe if you haven't. And the third thing, just comment down below which of the 17 signings is the signing of the summer. All right, guys, let's get into it. We're going to go through the outs first, just to let you know who's kind of gone and who's not. I've changed it up a little bit. I've made some graphics and stuff just to highlight the players that we've signed to make it a little bit more fun, a little bit more easier on the eye. Right, let's get into the start of Season 2 with the rebuild, the Eagles. First team players released, 4 key players that were obviously released: Christian Benteke, Andros Townsend, Connor Wickham and Jaroslav Žák. Now this dude, Jaroslav Žák, got £250,000 just for not being even at the club. He was actually on loan somewhere, and because we stayed in division, he got £250,000. But we've saved £225,000 a week in wages from them. Benteke was on like 100, Townsend 55, Connor Wickham was on 60. They've all been released. Them combined with a couple of others, £225,000 a week in wages saved. That has helped us push the boat out this summer. They're not the only ones as well. We did have Sam Woods, a player who was 22. They've kind of in our under 23s. Luke Dreyer has gone to Crewe. He was on like a couple of grand a week, and a couple of others. No one of any notable. There's Jaroslav Žák. He was on loan. He's at Derby now. He was on loan back in Poland, and yeah, we gave him 225 grand. As we said in division, even though he wasn't even on loan, he was on about 10 grand a week, I think. So yeah, it was good to get him off the books as well. Okay, right, you want to see the outs. Here we go. And there we go. These are the noticeable ones that we've actually got money for. Okay, so Norwich City have come in and done very well. There's players on here that I didn't think that I'd be able to get rid of, and I think we've done a pretty decent job in getting these out. So Jan Riedeveld has gone to Norwich City for 14.75 million. Norwich City were promoted into the Premier League, winning the championship, so they had a little bit of money to spend. They've done bits of Norwich, and they've also picked up Czech Kyoto as well, 9.75 million. Really happy with the amount of money we got for these players. Jeffrey Schlupp has gone to Watford as well. £9 million for him, a player that was never going to feature. He only was played when our players got tired at left back. He was sort of like third choice left back. He was also sort of like third choice winger, so very happy to get £9 million for him. Another player who was on 50k a week, plus I think, and also 28, 29, he sort of like reached his potential. Jordan Ayew, 6.75. He wasn't going on a free. He had another couple of years left, but 35,000. He'd skipped training a couple of times. Didn't really suit what we wanted as well, so he has gone 6.75. And then the other deals are a little bit smaller. James MacArthur was another player that's gone 250,000, a player that was on £50,000 a week. I didn't think I'd be able to get rid of him. Chuffed that he's gone for even to get anything for him. James McCarthy, 2.1 million, another player. He did actually do all right for us last season, but getting 2.1 million for him, another player, £50,000 off the books. Jim Tompkins, 2.1 million. He was on about £40,000 a week, so really happy that he's gone, was never going to play. And then players that were released, Wayne Hennessy went to Al Wado on a free, Martin Kelly on a free to Preston, and Nathaniel Klein has gone to Strasbourg. So that left us with this. This is the screenshot of what I was left with. I tend not to try and make signings too early. I did have a couple already in the bag ready to go when the window opened. But yeah, there was a lot of work to be done. We had a lot of money to spend. I think the value of the money that we had in the end sort of like went up to around 60, 70 million with all the sales. So we had a bit of money to play with. Right, that is the outs. We're now going to focus on the ins. We're going to start quiet and we're going to build our way up. All right, here we go. Let's see who we have picked up this summer. Okay, so the first one in is one of my favourite players of FM20. Last year when I was doing my Fenerbahce save, it is Omar Baez. He's coming on a free transfer. 17 years old, a very tidy player. Unfortunately, he's not got a work permit. He is joining us at the end of the month, so my plan is I was going to play him just in the under 23s, but without a work permit, we're going to have to send him out on loan, maybe for a season or two. Hopefully then he'll get some international caps. He's already playing regularly at under 21s level, but I just thought, look, he's a free transfer. We want players in. I was hoping that I'd get a work permit. Wasn't to be, but I think at some point we'll either have sell-on value with him, or at some point he'll definitely get his work permit. He's got beautiful technicals. He's not the most physical player. He's only 5'8". Mental zone in certain areas. Composure 17. Flair 16. Vision 16 at 17 years old is very impressive. So yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get a tune out of him. Won't be this season, but at some point we may loan him out somewhere where we can get loads of game time as well. We're going to be really, really careful where we send him on loan. Another one, just so you're aware, I thought Matata was joining us this summer. He's not. He's joining us next summer. A deal which was done last January, and it was triggered 13.25 million. It actually goes through at the end of the next season. So we've got 13.25 to come out of our budget next season. But yeah, really happy. He's still going to be our main man this season. Okay, one of the first young players through the door is Zech Medley. We've got him from Arsenal on a free transfer. Now, the idea is we've released so many players, so many under-23 players. The squad was looking a little bit too thin. So I wanted to just bolster us up a little bit. And players like this, who are costing us literally nothing, 4,100, 21 years old, act as emergency backup if we do have a serious number of injuries, I think is a decent signing. So I'm not going to dwell too much on him. Look, he probably will never end up playing for the first team, Zech Medley, but it's a free transfer through the door just to make us a little bit stronger in the under-23s. Okay, the next one is an exciting young player, 19 years old, free transfer again, and it is Inaki Williams' younger brother, Nico. Now, I've had him in my Bask or Nothing save with Athletic Club Bilbao, and he did not have these attributes. He had a little bit of an upgrade when the winter update came out in February. He's had a nice little upgrade. 19 years old. We've put him in the under-23s as well. My idea was that he was going to be a backup in the first team, but just with how we've strengthened in the summer, he's now going to be an under-23s player. He's happy to do that. 6'1", lovely, sort of like a very well-rounded player already. Physicals are pretty good apart from strength, as you can see. Mental's not too bad, but technicals, 15 dribbling, 15 first touch, 12 passing, 15 technique, 12 at finishing as well. Can play either side. Will be able to play down the middle. An exciting 5-star potential youth player. And the next one through the door is Cameron Carter-Vickers. Now, yes, he's not the most glamorous of signings. The basics, I signed him pretty early. He was available on a free transfer from Tottenham. They wanted, transfer listed him. They wanted absolutely nothing for him. So I picked him up just because he's trained in England, trained in the nation. He's a pretty good player. Physical's really good. 6'1" pace, not too bad. Stamina and strength. 14 heading, 14 marking, 13 tackling. Mental's pretty good. Free transfer. I didn't know where the transfer window was going to go in terms of what players were going to be coming available. My star player, my signing of the summer, was the last transfer I did. So I wanted to make sure that we had players through the door because you never know what's going to arrive on the transfer market. He's like our 5th choice centre-half. So he may not play much. He's too old to play for the under-23s as well. But we'll see. We may send him out on loan in January, depending. We have got Peric as well. Him and Peric are sort of like neck and neck with who will be sort of like the standing 4th choice, 5th choice defender. Okay, there's some of the more boring ones out of the way. And now we're gonna step it up a little bit. Reiss Nelson is back for another season. I didn't think we'd be able to get him, but I managed to get this deal done really early. He had a fantastic season for us on loan. 8 assists in 19 games, 3 goals. We needed a few more goals from him, but 8 assists, an average rating of 7.14. Really excited to have him back on the right-hand side. We've strengthened in that area as well to give us a little bit of an option because his physicals were never great in terms of playing a Saturday, Wednesday. He did struggle with that sort of like routine. So we've got a little bit of backup there for him to be rested, to be coming off, or to even to be coming on. So yeah, really excited to see how he develops for us this season. And his partner on the right-hand side is another loanee. It is Daniel James. Really want to see how this boy does on the right-hand side with his pace. Him and Reiss Nelson, I think are going to be a really good combination. Both can do the left-hand side as well. A loan deal done, £50,000 a week of his wages. Imagine we were paying Connor Wickham 60 grand a week, and we've got a player in, even though he's on loan. But there's always, if he does well, I think, especially with Reece Nelson as well. I think there's maybe potential deals to be done, permanent deals, if they can have an impressive season with us. Okay, I'll do this one just because it's not the most exciting one. I forgot about it. But we've brought Joe Hart in. My idea was that I wanted to bring another English keeper in. We did have Joe Whitworth, who is now going to be our under-23s keeper. A very, very good young goalkeeper, but I thought it was important for him to get some game time, so I've moved him down to the under-23s. We've got Joe Hart in for £1.6 million. A bit of an overpayment, but in FM, he is better than what people regard him in real life. Very, very experienced goalkeeper. 75 caps for England. Yeah, I think if he comes on into the squad and playing back up to Butland, too good. I do like to always have nation goalkeepers, so to having 2 English goalkeepers in there, very satisfied. He will be with us probably for the remainder of his days, so another 2-year deal I think is decent, 24 grand a week as well. Yeah, Joe Hart, look at his smile. He's loving being at the Palace. Okay, here we go. Free transfer, very exciting young youth player. Welcome to Palace, Brian Brobby. Released from Ajax. Not released, we got him on a free. Wasn't a free transfer. We kind of poached him from Ajax. I think in real life he's gone to RB Leipzig. I think that's right. 19 years old. He can play on the right, can play on the left, but we're going to use him as a backup striker. 15 finishing, technique's good, passing's getting there, heading's good, 5'11", so he's not the smallest. Work rate we could do a little bit more from, but physical's good. Strength, pace needs a little bit of work, but acceleration isn't too bad. We'll see how it develops. I think the option for us next summer is to see how Matata does, how Brobby develops. I think maybe next season, when we do go out and spend money again, getting a not a world class, well, hopefully a world class, but a real centre forward in up top if Matata and Brobby don't do it. But the deal had to be done. Only worth 850 grand now, but a free transfer from Ajax, I think, is a lovely little pickup. Okay, so the loanee of the season. Are you ready for this one? It's Ilax Mariba. I did try and sign him permanently. He was transfer listed for a little bit for £32 million. I did a structured deal where it was £20 million, and I think it went up to 35 over 3 years. Barcelona accepted it. He then rejected it because obviously we're not a big enough club. But he was happy then to come on loan. We returned about 3 weeks later, and he was happy to come on loan to us. A player that can do, we're playing now a flat 4-3-3 with 2 wingers, 3 central midfielders. He can do 2 of the 3 roles, probably even all 3 roles, as he can do deep line playmaker as well. So, yeah, I would like him to be our superstar going forward. And I think potentially there may be a deal to be done. If we have a really good season at the Palace this year, I'm thinking that he will then change his mind and we can get a permanent deal done. Mariba at Crystal Palace, I think I've done pretty well there. Okay, right, we've signed 2 new right backs. The first one is Alexander Tomashuk. He's cost us £8 million from Dynamo Kiev. Player that I tracked all summer. I do like a lot of the things that he can do for me in here. He's 5'11", 16 pace, 15 stamina, 15 tackling. We're not asking our right back to do a great deal. We're not asking him to be a fully fledged attacking right back. He's kind of sat in on a full back support or wing back on defend. So I'm quite happy to be hit for him to be strong defensively. He's got pretty good mentals, anticipation good, positioning good, work rate good, pace is decent strength and height. So he's a very, very solid right back. Only 24 years old, £8 million he costs, but £24,000 a week. And he's probably going to be playing back up to our other new right back. Our first choice right back is Lucas Romero. Now, he's cost us £5.75 million. I think it can go up to about £7 million, I think, with add-ons and stuff. Now, he's very much of a similar mould to Tomashuk in terms of his tackling, his positioning, his anticipation, everything is good. Agility, speed, he's not bad. Stamina, good. He's not the strongest in terms of 5'6", but I think he's going to be a very, very solid right back for us. 50 grand a week. I kind of just wanted to get those 2 players in. We didn't need, as I said, world beaters going down that right-hand side. We just went for 2 really solid options. They came up pretty early in the transfer window, so I decided to dive in. Less than £14 million for 2 right backs done, I think, is good business. Okay, the next one in is Sander Berge. Now, he was the only Sheffield United player out of the 3 that we looked at who came in through the doors. Now, Ramsdale chose Liverpool, even though we offered him more money than Liverpool. We offered him first choice keeper. Liverpool is going to be backup, but he chose Liverpool over us. O'Connell went somewhere else as well. He chose, I think, a little bit more money. But I knew what else we were bringing in here at the Palace. So I decided not to really push for O'Connell. But we got Sander Berge in. He cost us 6.75 million. Now, we are heavily stacked in central midfield, so he's going to have to play really, really well to find a permanent place. As the summers progressed, more and more players have come in and have generally been central midfielders. So we've got a bit of work. He's got a bit of work to do. I've got a little bit of work to do to make sure that I'm able to keep everyone happy. However, he is very well rounded. Once again, he can probably do all three roles that we're offering in the central midfield as well. Physicals as well, very good. 6'5". I didn't realise he was that big. Stamina and strength, so he's going to be a very, very decent player. A player that we can no doubt have on the bench and regularly get minutes that way going into any of the three positions. So yeah, the squad is looking healthy. Players like this as well. 65 grand a week. Remember, we've got so many players out over on 100 grand. The Bentekes, the Sackos. Cahill was on a lot of money as well. Andros Townsend was on a lot of money. So getting rid of players like this, Sander Berge out, Sander Berge in, and then losing players like McCarthy and MacArthur in central midfield, I think is pretty good business. Okay, we've signed a captain, Newcastle's captain. It is Jamal Lascelles. We've got him in from obviously Newcastle. We got him for a pretty decent deal, 5.25 million. Now, the idea that I got him in is because he's English as well. I did want to try and keep a little bit of the Palace way. They do like to sign many sort of like British and English players, so I wanted to bring him in. And I think he's a really good player in terms of FM. I don't want my centre-halves to do much. He's 6'3", stamina is decent, 16, 15 jump and reach, natural fitness is good, pace 13, leadership 17, bravery 15, aggression 15, work rate 15, teamwork 15, and then the basics, heading, marking, tackling, 15, 15, 15. Now, we can't take corners or cross or take free kicks or finish, but we don't want him for that. I'll take penalties. He's a very, very solid defender. £31,000 a week, happy to be a squad player as well, I think is a decent pickup. And then one of the signings of the summer in terms of value, I think, is Nathaniel Chalobah. 2.8 million, played 43 times for Watford last season. He can do a couple of route jobs for us. We were looking at playing a holding midfielder at the start of pre-season, but that's kind of changed. He can do central defence as well, so a decent player to have on the bench. English, remember, he's on the lines of Joe Hart, Lascelles, now Chalobah. English players that are going to be played back up to the first team players. I think it's always important to get a nice English core in there, and we've kind of done that. We've obviously lost a lot of English and British players, so getting players in like Chalobah, Lascelles, Joe Hart, very key in terms of keeping that English core in the squad. Okay, now I promise the signings do get better. The signings do get better. Okay, Wonderkid time. It's Thiago Almada. 8.75 we have played for him. He can play in a variety of positions. Now, we're playing with a flat 4-3-3, so I'm looking at playing him in the central midfield, either as an advanced playmaker. Him and Eze are kind of going to swap between that role and then a backup for Wilf Zaha on the left-hand side. Just a tremendous young talent, 20 years old. Beautiful technicals. Mentals are really good. Physicals not amazing, but 5'8", 9 strength, I suppose, not the worst in the world. He will no doubt build up over the next few years. Really excited to see how he does in a team that has generally had hard-working midfielders. So we've brought a bit of class into the central midfield. He played 19 times for Velez last year, and I think £9 million for a player that I've seen go for 60, 70 million pounds when he's at his peak and his prime is good business. Next through the door, £10 million, one of my favourite players once again, FM20. We've kind of lost. We've got Milivojevic, who's kind of disappearing in terms of physicals as he gets past his best. We've lost McCarthy. We've lost MacArthur. It was important to bring a central Riedewald as well, who can do box to box. It was important to bring a really strong, just a good all rounder, a good box to box, and I've brought in Ozan Tufan, £10 million from Fenerbahce. Very well rounded, pace, strength, stamina all good, mental's very good. Long shots 15, passing 15, tackling 14 as well. We are playing with a box to box. Long shots 15, dribbling, finishing, all good. 13, first touch, good as well. Can do box to box. Mazzala, he's kind of, 3 stars at everything apart from roaming playmaker. He can do all 3 roles that we are offering in the Palace midfield. really, really well. I'm expecting him actually to move in real life this summer. I don't think he's been picked up yet, but a very, very good, just a general steady Eddie, but he's got a little bit of quality. His vision's not bad. He'll get around the pitch. He'll probably get sent off at some points as well. And I'm hoping that he'll bang in a couple of long ranges. We didn't have enough sort of like threat from outside the area unless Milivojevic was taking a free kick. He gives us that option this season. And the record transfer this summer is Christoph Ayer. Now, I was going to play him in midfield, but because we've re-strengthened very, very late in the summer, he's now gone in to play at centre-half. We were looking at players like Lascelles and Peric to play alongside maybe Adhemovic, who we've already got at the club. I'm undecided what to do with him, but at the moment he's going to start as a defender, 6'5", £15 million he's cost from Celtic. A bit of an all-rounder. He can do all three roles. We have, as I said, with players like Mariba coming in quite late, Sander Berge in as well. Amalda can play in the central midfield. Eze can play in the midfield. Milivojevic can play in midfield. And also the next signing, we're going to start him at centre-half. Let me know. I imagine a lot of you have used Ayer this season in FM21. Let me know down in the comments where you have placed him. Okay, right. The last transfer of the summer is someone that came in really, really late. He just popped up. GG to the scouts, a player that we're all familiar with, and I just never thought he would be doable, so I didn't even look. And it popped up in my scout report, and it is. Are you ready for this? Sandro Tonali is at the Palace. Player, the 21-year-old midfielder, £11 million is cost from Brescia. Milan, once again, never made his loan permanent. He didn't have a great loan spell, but he is going to be our key. He's going to be our sitter in the central midfield with two more box-to-box and attacking players either side of him. He's just going to sit, deep line playmaker on defence, sit in there, get hold of the ball and play and pass. We're now playing we're still playing our low block, but we're playing with a shorter passing to keep hold of the ball a little bit better. Look at his player traits, tries killer balls, dictates tempo, tries long range passes, runs with the ball often, brings ball out of defence. He is going to be a massive part of our squad this season. This is the reason why Ayer has now dropped from central midfield to centre half, because we've got Tonali through the door. All right, boys, so that is it. Those are the signings. We've still got players from last season, so Dino Peric, Jack Butland. Who else have we got? Tyrick Mitchell is the left back. We've got Adamara Mola, who was the young left back who we had in the under-19s last year. He's going to be our backup at left back. Milivojevic is still there. We were going to sell him, but I've just decided just to keep him 2 years. We may look at selling him at the end of the summer. I didn't really need to play him. If he gets unhappy and wants more game time, then I'm quite happy to let him go, though, because we've strengthened so heavily in there. Matata and Brobby as the strikers. We've got Will Sahar, obviously, who can play up front as well. This is the tactic we are now rocking with. It is a flat 4-3-3 with Tonali sat in the midfield as a deep line playmaker on defend. We've got a box-to-box on that side. Remember, Sander Berge can go there. Milivojevic can go there. Ayer, Tonali, Shalabar can play in that role. We've got Eze and Almada that can play in that side. We've got Eze and Almada that can play on this side. We've got Nelson, we've got James, we've got Sahar that can play on the right-hand side. Up front, we've got Matata, Brobry. We might even go with Sahar on days. We may even probably use Wilf Sahar as a second choice. Maybe Brobry as a third choice. Yeah, Tomashuk and Romero as my right-backs. Ayer, Handhamovic, Lascelles, Peric, Carter Vickers as centre-halves. That is a big, big transfer window. So the tactic has pretty much stayed the same in terms of some of the stuff that we're doing. We are now doing much shorter passing. The idea is that we get hold of the ball, keep it, rather than going from one end to the other. I was curious that we've got three midfielders in there. Players like Eze, Almada, Tonali, Ozan, all want to be on the ball. And I want us to dictate, play a little bit more. Playing with a lone strike, I'm worried that we just go direct all the time. It's just going to keep coming back. So there it is. Those are the transfers, boys. Now, we're not going to do a live com today. Just mainly because this video is already going to be super, super long. We've already started the season. We've beaten Everton at home. I just had to play a game. I was still waiting for one transfer, the Joe Hart transfer, to come in anyway. And I didn't want to do a video till all the transfers were done. So we've just gone to Everton and picked up a really solid 2-0 win. Clean sheet away from home. Quite even, to be fair. There, 11 shots, 0.94. Wilf Sahar scoring on 6 and 77. Really good to see him scoring out on that left-hand side. We've got Arsenal next and Leeds, but what I am going to do is, boys, we're going to crack on for next week's episode, which will be next Sunday. We'll crack on to halfway through the season, give you a half-season update. Remember, we're doing 3 episodes a season, a start, a middle, and an end. This is episode 1 of season 2. Next week's episode will be the end of potentially January. I think the end of the January transfer window, because you want to see if there's any business done in the January transfer window. Have we got any money left? I've got £4 million left in the wages, in the transfer, but I've got over 400,000 in wage budget. So there's maybe a little bit to be done there potentially in the winter if we need to. We can't really bring in any Premier League loans because obviously we've already got Reece Nelson and Dan James. But yeah, that is it. As I said, let me know which of the signings of the summer excites you the most. Also, the last thing, the average squad has come down from 29. Our squad last year was the oldest in the Premier League by 2 years. Our average age is now 24, with now only 2 players 30 and above, Milivojevic and Joe Hart. Joe Hart has probably got that average rating up, the average age up even more at 34. But yeah, it's nice to have him in. There is an English core still as well. We've got Joe Hart, Butland, Chalobah, Lascelles, Nelson, Mitchell, Eze. Eze. Is Eze English? Yeah, Eze is English. It's Matata, that is French. Carter Vickers, brought up obviously in England with Spurs, even though he's American. Dan James, the Welshman. Daramola through the youth system. He's Irish, but he's one of us. So yeah, really pleased. Thank you very much for watching. Smash a like on today's video if you haven't. As I said, let me know who's the signing of the summer. Tonali, maybe. Mariba would have been if he was permanent, but hopefully we can get that deal done next summer. Really excited to see how these perform. We've got Arsenal coming up as well. Hopefully we will be. European football is the aim. I'm a little bit worried that we've signed too many players in one bigger window, so there's going to be a lot of gelling to do. I've played as many pre-season games as I possibly could. Fingers crossed we will be out. It has to be top 10. It has to be top 10 this year. Even though everyone else has strengthened, our squad is looking really, really good. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Take care. See you later.